be talking about how to protect ourselves from toxic people. How many of you here in the room know that there are some people around us who are like, oh, they just take our energy out? And I'm going to be personally sharing my own story today in terms of how me as a person used to give my energy, power, my sanity to any or every person around me. कोई भी मेरी लाइफ में आता था, मुझे लगता था ये सही है और मैं ही गलत होंगी. So rewinding my life by a few years, I'm going to be sharing one of the story of my life today with every single one of you. So I've been someone who, for the longest period in my life, I've lived the concept that I'm not good enough. So every single time somebody used to show me that, Shruti, मतलब तुम क्या, मतलब इतना भी नहीं तुम्हें आता, इतना भी नहीं तुम्हें आता. I used to like, हाँ यार, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, मुझे इतना भी नहीं आता. And my brain used to multiply it at another level. How many of you are like me here or were like me? That you need just teeny thing for someone to tell you and you're like, हाँ बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो, मैं तो खुद ही ये सोचती हूँ कि मुझे बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आता, I don't know मेरा क्या होगा. So for me, someone used to have this much and I used to make this much in my own head. And I still remember I was working for Siemens at that point in time. And as a logical thing, during that time, I'm an 80 born. Any one of you kind of do your engineering, after that you choose to do your MBA. So I joined something called as Career Launcher. Anyone in the room knows of that time. Career Launch is the place wherein they help you to, to do an MBA. So I joined that and I went there and I was someone who's like really worked hard during my engineering time to do the maths and all. And when I joined the Career Launcher, when I used to go there and there was this teacher who used to teach maths. So every single day I used to go, I used to be very scared because मुझे maths ना समझ नहीं आती थी, बहुत मुश्किल लगती थी. Now people would say, क्या श्रुति पूरी engineering कर डाली और उसके बाद भी तुम कह रहे हो कि maths मुश्किल लगती थी. But that has been my reality. I still remember the first time not the first time, the only time when I had cracked the interview of Cisco, wherein I actually had went through over 12 rounds of interview. And when I got the job, I called my brother who was actually doing his IM at that point in time. I called him and I told him, "Yay, मेरा Cisco में हो गया, I got cleared." And he said, 10% of 100 कितना होता है, पहले ये बताना ना. Show me a smile in the chat window if you know that we have people around us who know us so well at certain times that for sometimes for them it is a joke, for us also it is a joke, but we further put it that crown on our head कि हाँ यार ये मुझसे नहीं होता, ये मुझे नहीं आता. So for me, I didn't have one crown, I had multiple crowns because I was dealing with a lot of low self-esteem issue. For me, it could be maths, for someone else it could be finances. हर एक अपना अपना. So continuing to my story, coming back, I started going to that Career Launcher to do my classes. And the story used to ask me questions. They used to be like this. Really scared. It's not, many of the times, it is not about whether you know the subject or you don't know the subject. Many of the time, we in our head fail first. In our head only, we create a story that we will not know this. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Give me yes in the chat window. So we don't even want to give it a shot. So that was my relation with this maths. And I still remember he asked me some of the questions. He said, Shruti, I can't even imagine that you have done your engineering. Tomorrow, before you enter for my class, please get your certificates that you have done engineering, that too from a university like Thapar in Punjab, which is one of the deemed university out there. And I felt so small, that I went back home. I was staying in a PG at that point in time. I was working for Siemens. This was something which I was doing in the evening. And I called my mom and I said, I don't want to do any more of this. I don't even want to go to Siemens because I don't know, everyone will get to know how dumb I am. And I just can't face it. And I'm going to be asking every one of you in the room, how many of you have felt the fear that people will get to know that you do not know even this much also. And you do not want to get into those places that you don't want the mirror to come. Kya re yaar, itni dumb, itna bhi samajh nahi aa raha, itna se bhi, kahan se tum kahan jaake kya karoge life mein. Thank you so much, guys. I like really feeling at home today. So fast forwarding it, I told my mom and I went sleepless for 3 days. And I was like, I want to quit Siemens because in Siemens also everyone will get to know I'm so dumb. And any which ways, that was the playback story of my life. Guess what? My mom told me, you just leave this career launching thing, no MBA for you, and never went for an MBA. And that was an IIT teacher who had actually told this to me. And I always believed in my life that this is something I can never have. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you all is for us to know that how many such kinds of people we have met who have just said us one thing or two things, but we have taken so much as a part of our being that has become the reality of our life, and we are living that thought process even till date. Give me yes in the chat window if you know what I'm talking. It could be in the past. For some of us, it could be happening in the present as well, in the form of either our spouse telling it us, or our parents telling it us, or our boss telling us, or our friend telling us that this is something you cannot do. Well, let me just fast forward. Thanks to that IIT guy, I didn't do the MBA back then, but last year I did, got selected by this initiative by IIM Bangalore and Goldman Sachs. They were looking for 10,000 women to help them to scale up their career. And finally, I got to be directly landing into IIM Bangalore and do my course. So I always say these people are disguised angels. At that point in time, you don't know what they're doing to your life. And in latent point, and I personally feel that doing an MBA now while I was doing the company is making more sense than me doing when I was in my 20 year or 21. Having said that, today the topic is not about my MBA and what that person did to me. Today the topic is how to deal with such toxic people who makes us feel this small, and the moment they make us feel this small, they become this big. Many of the time, these people are doing this to us because they do not have anything in their life to think higher of themselves. Because anyone who wants us to grow will always have better ways to help us in growing. From today, first and the foremost thing is, I want you all to start differentiating from people who are toxic and well-wishers. Hello? Many of the time, what we do is we consider these toxic people as our well-wishers. We say, हाँ, हमारे भले की ही तो कह रहे, क्या तो सही रहे हैं. Give me yes in the chat window if you know what I'm talking about. So what do is we give them this garb of well-wishers, and we keep taking all that shit of theirs, not knowing that every single thing which they're telling us at that point in time is some way scooping out our own confidence. Is scooping up our own confidence. And this is one of the things which I want every single one of you to know. Any person around you who makes you feel small does not belong in your environment. Any person around you who makes you feel small, even if they're doing it out of a joke, even if they're doing it out of fun, because you would not know that whether at that point in time, how much of your confidence is getting sucked out. So at that point in time, if right now, many of the time people say, but you know what, Shruti, she's a very old friend of mine. You know what, Shruti, she's a very good friend of mine, but only now this much only she does not know how to talk. Hello, how many of you know that this is also happens to us, that there are friends of ours, they're like chuddy buddy of ours who do this to us, and we're like, nahi yaar, pyar hai. Well, I want you to know, pyar hai, but if pyar has this layer to it, that pyar does not belong to you. So you either tell them not to treat you that way, or you start distancing yourself. One of the things which I truly want every single one of us to know, that relationship also has seasons. If you have a friend who has been your friend from years, does not mean that that person can be your friend for years to come. We all as human beings grow. And when we grow, we change. And when we change, it is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing for us to have some friends of ours who are there with us for 10 years. And on the 11th year, if you feel that, tune match nahi kar raha, frequency match nahi kari, you don't have to feel guilty about it. You just need to know that we just bloomed and we are blooming into different directions now. And now is my time for me to start making distance with them. Now, here's something which I'm going to be telling you how you need to do that. Fast forwarding my life 2-3 years back, when I got into this game of self-development, one of the things which I want you all to know is that if you're going to be surrounding, we are average of 5 people around us. Write this down. We are average of 5 people around us. Your thoughts, your being is always going to be average of 5 people. So start checking what kind of 5 people are you hanging out. So if your guys are meeting me every day for this 21 days confidence challenge, I'm also building your average. How many of you know that your positivity goes little higher? You behave little differently at home when you attend these sessions or read a book, because your average changes at that point in time. So what I want to know, we are all our average of 5 people. Now I want you all to start seeing who are those 5 people around you. Now, in that, your kids are going to be there, your family is going to be there. So first count them and then move to the next 5. Move to the next 5. Who are the people I'm spending my most time with? And what I want you to know, 3-4 years back, when I started my journey of self-development, the same friends with whom I used to spend nights over, with same who I used to like, sit down for hours and hours and hours, with the same set of friends, when I used to sit down, have those get together, those evening meeters, those bate after bate after bate after bate, after a certain point in time, I started to feeling a lot of voidness in my stomach, in my heart. I used to sit down with them, have conversation about uska, iska, iski gossip, uski bate, iski bate, iski bate. And I used to enjoy at that point. But the moment they used to leave, I used to feel some pinch in my stomach and in my heart. And that's exactly the moment I got to know that, Shruti, you do not belong here anymore. What you're doing now is to just fit in. What you're doing now is to just to give yourself that peace. पर ये तो मेरे दोस्त हैं, इन्हीं के साथ इतने सालों से, तो अभी क्या हो गया? And that's the moment when your heart starts to tell you that you need to move away. Now, you know what, at this point in time, some of us feel that, Shruti, but if I move away from this set of people, but these are my only crowd, my only gang which I have, where will I have friends? Show me the raise of hands if that's the fear we have, because we are social elements. We would love to have people around us. और जिन लोगों से हम लोग 5, 10, 20 साल से घूम रहे हैं, उन्हीं को छोड़ देंगे तो आगे कैसे पाएंगे? And here's something which I want you to know. That moment, you'll find it difficult to move yourself away, but only if you create space for something new enters towards you. Until and unless we do not create space, we will not find next set of people. Your vibe creates your tribe. I know this for a fact that everyone who's there with me inside my inner community of Charismatic, it is not a coincidence. My vibe is attracting and building my tribe. You guys in this room, there's a vibe which has attracted you to my tribe of coming here to my session every single day. So what I want you to know is the same applies for you. But if you're someone who's going to be staying stuck with the same older tribe and not listening to your own vibe, then you'll stay stuck with within that same set of relationship, and you will never be able to grow. So ask yourself, when your heart talks to you, am I being around these people just to fit in? Am I being around these people just in the fear that if I move away from here, where will I find the friends? And what I want you to know is, when you create space, you get new people. But if you're not going to be creating space, you will continue having the same set of people who are also vibrating at the frequency, which was your frequency 2-3 years back. It is not your new frequency, but you're still aiming to be there. One of a very, very beautiful thing which my mentor told me when I was losing all my friends. When I was having this pain कि अरे यार ये तो मेरे दोस्त थे, ऐसे कैसे मतलब distance create हो रहा है, ऐसे कैसे मुझे इन लोगों के साथ मजा नहीं आ रहा, ऐसे कैसे I'm like not being able to gel with them anymore. And this is what my mentor said. If you are the best in the room, you are in the wrong room. Give me BO in the chat window if that's a bulb on. If you are the best in the room, you are in a wrong room. Because that room, you do not have anyone to look up to and grow. And if we are not growing as human beings, we are dying. We are either growing or we are dying. So it's extremely, extremely important for us to emotionally, mentally, as a strength, to be always surrounded by people who makes us better. Ask yourself, are these people empowering me or disempowering me? That's going to be a challenge for every one of you, whatever people you're around. So I'm not counting loved ones, and then I'm not going to be asking you guys to leave your loved ones, but beyond your loved ones, ask yourself, are these people empowering me or are they disempowering me? The second question which you need to ask yourself is this relationship making me better or is it making me bitter? Is this relationship making me better or is this relationship making me bitter? And if you get the answer that this is disempowering me, or if you get an answer that this is going to be making me bitter, then what you need to do is, I'm going to be giving you a formula for that. Instead of you immediately cutting off with them, you will create your set of friends. Now, how this set would look like, you will have a 1-minute friend, you will have a 15-minute friend, and you will have 1 hour or more than 1 hour friend. What does that mean? That means the people who are disempowering to you, instead of you immediately stopping to talk to them, because that's going to be difficult, you will make them as your 1-minute friend. You will have a conversation with them, but within a minute, you will say, hey, listen, you know what, I need to get to go. I'll talk to you later. And you'll cut the phone. This is how your interaction is going to be. You meet them in your apartment and say, hey, you know what, I just need to go for my walk. I'll talk to you later. So this is how you'll create that courtesy, but you'll move on. Then there's going to be next set of people who are like acquaintances. You will just be there for 15 minutes and then you'll move on from there. And then there's going to be another set of people of yours, which are going to be your 1 hour more than. These are the people who are going to be empowering people in your life with whom you will love to spend more time with. Yes, with me. So right now, I have a very close set of people who can be there with me for more than 1 hour. Beyond that, for everyone, I have my very strong boundaries that I'm not going to be setting. I'm not going to be spending so much time with them because they are not empowering me. If it does not evolve me, do not involve me. Some of you must have seen that post of mine. If it does not evolve me, do not involve me is a mantra I live with. And at that cost, if I have to let go of some of my best buddies, I'm okay in letting them go because I am on a path of evolving myself rather than fitting into those older relationships. So the affirmation for every single one of you today is, I am building happy and lasting relationships. I am building happy and lasting relationships. Your second affirmation is going to be, if it does not evolve me, I will not be involved in it. If it does not evolve me, I'm not going to be involving in it. And for the people who are saying what to do with my loved ones, with the loved ones, all you need to do is 2 simple formula. Your number one thing is distance yourself as much as you can. You need not have to be like tiki all the time. Just be there for respect, be there for the relationship, and then you can distance yourself if you can. The second thing which you need to do is, do not fight over topics. There are always going to be topics wherein there's going to be a conflict. And all of us know by now that what are those topics wherein there are going to be conflicts. Move away from it. If someone is wanting to talk to you, "Arey nahi, ye to aise, arey nahi, ye to aise," you will say, okay, fine. And then you move. Or you change the topic. It's such an amazing, thing to do, that if there's a conversation wherein you know that this is only getting worse, or probably I'm not someone who's aligned to it, change the topic. But we as human beings, you know what we do, especially with our loved ones, tum meri suno, tumko samajhna hi padega. And we keep going on and on and on. And we further says, oh my God, I'm getting bitter now. And I'm feeling so disempowered now. Don't do that. Just move away from that discussion or change the topic. Is the best way for you to kind of protect yourself from that toxicity which people throw at you. Please remember this. It is your job to protect yourself. It is not their job to protect you, whether it's like in-law or mother-in-law or mother or father or spouse. It's your job. So create a wall, create a very nice, fountain for your own self, that I do not allow anyone from entering into it. And if they're not understanding my point of view, it's okay. They might be right as per their mental map. I'm right in my mental map, and I'll go ahead and do what I need to do or what I do not need to do. With me? Awesome. Superb. So that's how maybe it's always get little trickier with the loved ones, but you can always create a wall of just saying ki theek hai chalo. I still remember there's so many times, you know, many of the times wherein my husband says, tum kya hu kari ja rahi ho. Now, how many of you in the smart people in the room by know ki kyun Shruti hu kar rahi hai? Because at that point in time I don't agree to him. So I don't want to get into the game for him because I know it's a very strong opinion of his. So I would say and after a point in I will say itna kyun kar rahe ho tum? Then I'll smile. I said bas yaar tumhara opinion और मेरा opinion थोड़ा different है, but I don't want to discourage you. Your opinion is your opinion. You can say it out. I'm always going to be listening to it. But what I'll do is going to be my head. With me, guys, can every one of you can become smarter in a relationship? You don't have to take out your talwar again. अरे नहीं मैं तुम्हें बताती हूँ कैसे करना है. No. Just be okay, okay. Now when my husband sees me saying okay so many times, he actually realizes on his, he's also a smart guy na. He also realizes कि मेरा चुप होने का time हो गया. This girl, nothing is going inside her head anymore. So we create that very, you know, very beautiful, respectful state of not putting each other down, but at the same time respecting कि हाँ जो आप कह रहे हो वो सही है, पर इसके beyond मैं तो नहीं ले रही हूँ अंदर. With me? Superb. So thank you so much, guys.